What's going on, everybody? It's me, Shane, back with a good classic video. If you don't know who I am, let me introduce myself to you. I'm Shane-O-Matic. I'm Shane, whatever you want to call me. If you want to do me a big, awesome favor, you know what I'm saying? Make my whole day. You can hit that subscribe button. That'll be amazing to me. And if you want, you can hit that like button too. That'll be amazing to me. I'm just a small YouTuber trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's get straight into it. Yeah. The Walking Dead 10 things that still makes no sense. Let's get into it. Now, I've been watching The Walking Dead since I was like 10 years old. I still watch it, even though I watch the spin-offs because the show already ended. But I watch the spin-offs and all that good, amazing crap. But I'm fascinated on this video because, you know what I'm saying, I grew up watching The Walking Dead. And I'm just curious of things I missed watching the show or I haven't missed. Maybe I do know some of this. I don't know. I'm a big Walking Dead fan. Matter of fact, my first video I've ever made on this channel, it was a short, but you know it still counts as a Walking Dead video. When I went to Woodbury in real life, Alexandria. I went to where Daryl's brother died and where Rick and the governor met for the first time. And I went to other couple places like the beach in the later seasons and all that. It was a good video. You should check it out. It's a short. It's one of my shorts, the first one ever made. Check that out. It's awesome. I love it. But let's get straight into the video.
After 12 years and 11 seasons, The Walking Dead is set to conclude its run later this year, signaling the end of a messy but beloved era of big-budget TV. Set in a world overrun by the undead, the series has spawned a handful of spin-offs and a colossal fan base.
Facts.
It has been slightly marred throughout its run, as this video will explore, by some frustrating plot holes and unanswered questions that have left audiences baffled for years now. With that in mind then, I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and this is The Walking Dead 10 things that still don't make sense. Number 10, how did Rick survive his gunshot and coma? As The Walking Dead nears its end, let's go back to the beginning and ask, how on earth did Rick Grimes survive his gunshot wound and his...
Because he's Rick Grimes. He survives everything. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? That's Ricky Doodle Grimes. You don't play with that. That's the best dude of all times. You know what I'm saying? I would love to meet the actor. Andrew Leakin, if that's his name. You know, I just love The Walking Dead. I always be watching the behind the scenes. I would just love to, you know what I'm saying? If I was an actor, I would love to play in that show, especially back in the day when it was in its prime. That show just, I don't know, it's just part of my childhood. You know what I'm saying?
his subsequent coma. In the show's pilot, Days Gone By, Rick is shot through the stomach and then falls into a coma, which he stays in until just after the dead have risen and the world has already ended. But considering the severity of his injuries and the fact that no one was there to help him recover after the apocalypse, how did he eventually wake up seemingly entirely healed? Rick's gunshot wound is never really mentioned again, and the flashback sequences revealing that Shane did half-heartedly secure his hospital room when the world ended don't really explain how he wasn't executed by gun-happy soldiers or devoured by hungry walkers. There are plenty of characters who survive unlikely injuries in this show, and this will not be Rick's last appearance on this list, but this is one of The Walking Dead's more implausible and lazily written instances of plot armor. Number 9. Why did it take the survivors so long to find the prison? The show's season 2 finale has some major cliffhangers, including the...
Because they were, in Atlanta. Or not in Atlanta, but close to Atlanta. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm confused off this one.
He revealed that everyone is infected with the virus that raises the dead, and the tease that the survivors are on the precipice of discovering it.
The prison was that big? I swear the prison did not look like this. Am I tweaking? I swear the prison was not this big looking. Unless it was on the side. That's how they got in. Because I kind of recognize this little spot, but this, I did not recognize this at all.
A new sanctuary. The prison ends up being a major setting for seasons 3 and 4, and the first real home for the group. But
I love the prison. That was season 3, season 4. Those are my favorite seasons. Like I used to the governor was one of my favorite villains. You know what I'm saying? Just so evil, but he kind of have a deep story. How Rick was. And Herschel, poor Herschel. I'm gonna miss Herschel, you know what I'm saying? I miss Herschel, bro. To this day, I miss Herschel. To this day.
To this day! To this day!
the season 2 finale, as I mentioned, makes it seem as though it's right around the corner, but when season 3 kicks off, months have passed, and they're still no closer to arriving. There are some references to large walker hordes blocking their paths, keeping them at bay, but the fact that they're on the road for what appears to be several months based on Laurie's advanced pregnancy and circling the same area, it is kinda hard to believe that they hadn't found the prison, or at least a sign that it lay on the horizon. I mean, look, it's right there.
It just popped up with some titties in my face. Skip.
Number 8, how exactly did the military get overrun? The Walking Dead is set in a world where the apocalypse is already in full swing by the time we get to it in our first episode. The dead have risen, society as we know it has fallen, and all that remains are random groups of survivors struggling to make it day to day. Whilst the decision to skip over the specifics does make for an admittedly gripping creative decision in the early years of the show, the inclusion of large settlements with minimal security and the continued survival of the core gang does bring up an interesting query. That being, how did the army get overrun?
To be honest, the zombies, or you could say walkers, that's what they're called, walkers, they were not, like, strong at all, you know what I'm saying? Now, season 1 walkers were kind of more up there, you know, they could climb, they had rocks, they broke glass, you know what I'm saying, all this advanced stuff. But over the seasons, they kind of got weaker. Eventually, the good guys, or the characters, any character, the humans, they were just killing me so easily, you know what I'm saying? That's the only problem, not a problem, but like they could have made the walkers stronger. Until later seasons, like the last season, they kind of, like, you know what I'm saying, changed it up a little bit. And then on the Daryl Dixon show, right, they have the more advanced. Like, now it's crazy. Check that show, it's amazing. I should make a video about that. But yeah, honestly, yeah, the walkers were always kind of weak, you know what I'm saying? It was always character develop. It was all about motion. It was horror, but it was a lot of emotion, like drama, in that show. So it was really never about the walkers itself. It was more about the humans. They're danger. You know what I'm saying? But let me just say play. Let me shut up and just say play.
Fear the Walking Dead does admittedly dig into this very briefly, but not nearly enough to explore how one of the largest and most powerful military powers in the world was beaten by the undead so swiftly. And yeah, it is only a minor gripe in the grand scheme of things, because this kind of thing is easy to overlook from a storytelling perspective, but it is one of those things that the more you think about it, the harder it is to believe. Number 7, why did Michonne so willingly leave home? As the show has worn on, many actors have left to pursue other things. Andrew Lincoln, Tom Payne, Jeffrey DeMunn, and Lauren Cohan, before her eventual return, all left for various reasons, and Denai Guerrera followed suit in season 10, wishing to focus on other.
Yeah, she played in Black Widow. Not Black Widow. Black Panther. She played in Black Panther. She's the bad girl. I forgot her name. I am a Marvel fan too. I'm just all around a movie nerd. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, she played in Black Panther. I forgot her character's name. Honestly. But yeah, she's the bald black girl with a stick. But no, she's an amazing character. I love her. You know what I'm saying? I love what she does. I love her acting. You know what I'm saying? Let me just hit play.
Aspects of her career, Guerrera was written out of the show during the Whisperer War, with her character Michonne leaving home to follow a lead regarding the fate and whereabouts of her long-missing husband Rick. But whilst it does make sense from a behind-the-scenes standpoint why Michonne was removed, the series itself doesn't do her character justice in this exit at all, because she just straight up leaves her children and friends during the biggest conflict of their lives without much build-up, all because, and I can't stress this enough, she finds Rick's shoes. It makes sense, of course, that Michonne would want to find her husband and would be shocked at this reveal, but not that she'd so willingly leave Judith, RJ, and the communities just stranded. This was a twist that really could have done with more development. Number 6, how did Rick survive the bridge explosion?
Cause he's Rick. Cause he's Rick.
Rick Grimes is just immortal. He's been shot, stabbed, shot some more, beaten to a bloody pulp, and tortured so many times it's hard to keep up. But surviving his final episode is definitely the craziest tale of his survival. After being impaled on a metal pipe and bleeding out to the point of collapse, Rick's farewell finds him face to face with an impenetrable walker horde he leads away from home. A confrontation that forces him to blow up a bridge to destroy them and save his family and friends. It's a brilliant send-off and should, even by The Walking Dead's logic, have killed him. But the episode's final scene reveals that he's actually alive and, if not well, on the road to being well. He's badly wounded, yes, but he's breathing, despite the enormity of the bridge explosion and the severity of his blood loss. Everyone back home naturally assumes he's dead, and honestly, he should be. Even for this series, this level of injury was just too much for one man to overcome.
Oh, did y'all ever watch, or it's kind of, not older, but it been out, The Ones Who Live? That's tough. I like The Ones Who Live. The end was iffy. They kind of rushed it at the end, especially that one RJ's actor. It's terrible. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to hate on kids, but they could have done better with that. But it was kind of iffy at the end. But the beginning, middle was amazing. I liked it. I loved it a lot. Especially Angel Leakin was awesome. You know what I'm saying? I missed him. Not gonna lie, I missed Rick. We needed Rick back. But yeah, let me just stop talking. Hit play.
Number 5, is Walker blood deadly or not? One of the biggest plot holes of The Walking Dead concerns the walkers themselves, more specifically their blood. In Season 8, Negan orders his soldiers to use walker guts to infect their enemies. According to the enigmatic dictator, the undead's insides will cause people to die in turn, even if they're nicked with a knife or arrow. It's an interesting theory, but it's actually kind of impossible given how the rest of the show has depicted walker guts. So when you think about it for more than a second, Negan's theory just doesn't pan out. Throughout the show, the survivors have covered themselves in walker guts to evade large hordes, and no one has got sick yet. Likewise, many characters have been cut or used tainted weaponry without any adverse effects. The Season 8 Guts trick is a hard one to overlook then given the show's past, and one that continues to baffle since it's only been deadly in the one episode the writers wanted it to be. And yeah, I understand that the same story happened in the comics, but the rules there were way more consistent about this stuff. It kind of just seems like the writers wanted to adapt the comic story without caring about how it lined up with what else they had previously established in the show. Number 4, how strong are the walkers really?
Love games.
Actor, or not actor. Ad again. Another ad.
Unimaginably wealthy.
Skip.
The strength and ability of the walkers remains one of the biggest inconsistencies of the entire show, inexplicably changing depending on what the writers need to happen in any given scene. Throughout the show, there have been plenty of moments where the walkers have appeared as a little more than weak cannon fodder, such as when long surviving characters such as Rick, Daryl, Michonne, and the like have been forced to fend off large groups. But sometimes they're just superhuman. Noah is dragged to his death in Season 5
RP
by the
Noah.
Apples and is seemingly powerless to save himself. On the other hand, Dale is
Oh,
a
Dale.
walker that easily overpowers
RP
him,
Dale.
and there are moments when
I
key
miss Dale.
characters can kill 20 at a time, but then can't seem to handle just one on its own. Their strength isn't the only thing, though. Rewatching the first 2 seasons, some walkers actually have the ability to run and climb walls, traits which eventually fade without any real explanation. It's a simple case of writing to suit what needs to happen, but it's hard to overlook once you notice it. Number 3, how much time has passed? Much like the cause of the disease that raises the dead, the Walking Dead timeline has long been shrouded in mystery, making it almost impossible to figure out how much time has passed and how old everyone is. Going into the final episode based on Judith's age and how long Rick has been confirmed missing, about 13 years have passed since the pilot. But before these indicators, it was much harder to decipher how the Walking Dead's timeline worked. Carl Grimes, for instance, seems to age about 10 years between his first and last appearances, despite a newborn Judith barely aging beside him, and most theories, based on dialogue and subtle timeskips, indicates that the first 8 seasons transpire over no more than 2 years, which is just insane given how much happens in that time. The series still works without time being a major influence, but the more you think about it, the more baffling it becomes. Number 2, where are the survivors getting their fuel? Considering the aforementioned timeline, there's another question that has
Oh, yeah,
not been
'cause-
sufficiently answered.
Oh yeah, 'cause gas only lasts for like not an hour, but for like a year. And then you gotta get new gas, 'cause gas gets old. If you didn't know that. But yeah, yeah, I didn't think about that.
That being, how do the survivors still have fuel for their vehicles? Despite what The Walking Dead will tell you, fuel does go off after a certain period of time, especially if stored incorrectly, meaning that it can't be used. The show has glossed over this, though, to an almost hilarious degree at this point, with Daryl's bike in particular reaping the benefits of the world's unexplained fuel supply. Now, there is a chance that some of the survivors managed to store some gasoline in the very early days of the apocalypse, but now that we're over a decade in, the use of cars and motorbikes to get around is just kind of confusing. They kind of explain this in the show by having characters adopt horses more than vehicles, but that was much, much later. Now, sure, the show has its behind-the-scenes reasons for this as well. I mean, the infamous, indestructible Hyundai Tucson was always used because Hyundai was a sponsor, but that isn't a major comfort when you see the gang using a petrol station without any issue. Number 1, seriously, how many walkers are there? Even 13 or so years into the zombie apocalypse, America isn't exactly going to be lacking in the undead department. What with a population of over 300 million, that is fair. But even so, it is hard to get over just how many hordes and hidden walkers the survivors have come across. We're over 100 episodes into the show, and our favorite characters have destroyed groups of thousands of walkers, but still seem to find new flesh eaters in pretty much every room they enter, regardless of how much time has passed and how many they've cleared out. This also begs the question, how are the walkers still moving around? The numbers don't seem to be dwindling, but the food supply certainly is, and yet there's still innumerable undead lurking to give the survivors a hard time. Now, it's also important to note that we know that walkers decay, and as such, a lot of the ones we see also seem far too fresh given the human population that we know about. As the series nears its end, then it might be time to start making a point of exploring the longevity of the walkers themselves, since it seems like they're being produced from thin air at this point. Again, this was another thing that the comics also touched upon, especially as the walkers were affected by seasons, but we haven't really touched that in the show. So that's our waste. I want to know what you guys think about these inconsistencies.
Very, very
below. Like I
interesting.
said, this is mostly just for fun. These inconsistencies
Very, very interesting.